Om Namo Bhagavathe Sri Ramanaaya. Jai Jai Shankara Hara Hara Shankara. One of the foremost devotees of Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi is Sri Devaraja Mudaliar. Sri Devaraja Mudaliar was a lawyer. He has been devoted to Bhagavan since around 1940 or even earlier than that. He had been coming often with his family, and slowly he gained that deep devotion towards Bhagavan. He was basically a practicing lawyer in various locations around Chennai, and he was very fond of singing devotional hymns in the presence of Bhagavan, and often used to pray to Bhagavan vocally. He used to ask Bhagavan vocally, whenever he used to sing those hymns, that Bhagavan should bestow his grace upon him, and only with that grace he can attain that state of self-realization. So like that, one day Mr. Devaraja Mudaliar was singing some devotional hymns, and then, like as usual, he was freely asking Bhagavan, when will you give me that Anugraha, Arul? I need that Anugraha so that I can attain the state. Otherwise, without your Anugraha, I cannot really attain anything, because I am not that competent to engage in the practice of Mahayoga or Atma Vichara. So this was basically his question and prayer to Bhagavan. So Bhagavan normally used to keep quiet, just he used to give a smile, and then he used to nod his head, and then he just usually keeps quiet when people ask such kind of questions. So on that day once, when Mr. Devaraja Mudaliar was, as usual, asking this kind of question to Bhagavan, then actually Bhagavan gave him a reply saying that இருப்பது அருள் தான் வை, நீ உள்ள வராம இருந்தா போதும், which means that what is only grace, Anugraha. It will be enough if you don't come in between. So Bhagavan told him that what is there already is only Anugraha or Arul or grace. It will be enough if you don't come in between. So the kind of general meaning which we can all get out of the statement of Bhagavan is that it is the Anugraha or grace which always emanates from Bhagavan, in the presence of Bhagavan. So it will do its work, and only what is needed is that we don't interfere with our unnecessary thoughts or emotions, such kind of things. So this is basically the kind of understanding we all can get. But there is a kind of a deeper meaning to the statement made by Bhagavan. When Bhagavan says there is only grace, or actually what he says is that the actual English translation of what he said is that what is only grace, irupadu arul dhan, which basically means what is only grace or Anugraha, which basically means our own fundamental primal existence, the fact that I exist or the fact that you exist, this existence, Sat, in itself is Anugraha. So, which basically means our very nature itself is Anugraha of Bhagavan. Which means that what exists always is indeed Bhagavan. So the existence consciousness, which we call as the Satchit, is indeed Bhagavan within all of us. Bhagavan was never tired of stressing this point to the visitors or the devotees. Bhagavan always used to refer to the fact that the existence of each one of us, the fact that I exist, the awareness of our existence is indeed the Atman or the Bhagavan within us. So, in a way, it is pointless to speak of self-realization or attainment of self-realization, Jivan Mukti, whatever it is. Because, as Bhagavan has said repeatedly, it is only Bhagavan who is there within us all the time as our own existence consciousness, Satchit. So when what is there within us is Bhagavan, what is the need for any further realization? It will be enough if we do away with our unnecessary thoughts with the practice of Mahayoga or Atma Vichara, and the more focused our practice, the lesser will be thoughts. The lesser our thoughts are, the lesser will be our level of or the proportion of the ego or the mind. So ultimately, the jiva is basically the kind of thoughts. So as the thoughts gets reduced with the practice, then naturally the role of jiva also gets reduced to that extent. So the more and more the practice, more stronger and focused the practice, the lesser the thoughts. But still there will be that source of thoughts, the mind or the individuality will be there. But with the consistent practice, slowly it will also dry up, it will also gets weakened and naturally will go away. So even in the process, when we have less thoughts with the practice, the more time we will remain without thoughts. So those moments of time wherein we remain without thoughts is basically the fact that we remain in the presence of Bhagavan, who is basically our existence consciousness, Satchit, the awareness, the Atman within all of us. So in a way, the presence of Bhagavan is there within us always, all the time, even when we have thoughts, for that matter. So you only have to have that deepest understanding and conviction based on our practice that what exists always within us is Bhagavan, our own awareness, Satchit. So the existence itself is indeed Bhagavan. All of us, within all of us, the fundamental existence, Sat, is indeed Bhagavan. So if we have this understanding, then naturally we all will always be liking to remain in the presence of Bhagavan. What else can be there for us which can give more joy than being in the presence of Bhagavan? So that way, being in the presence of Bhagavan itself is the greatest blessing we all can have. And this kind of blessing has been given to us by Bhagavan. If we can have this understanding and experience based on our practice. So let us all have this understanding. Let us all be with the consistent practice of Mahayoga. Thereby, let us all have that infinite joy of being in the presence of Bhagavan all the time. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaaya. Jai Jai Shankara Hara Hara Shankara.